Greetings, loyal minions, traitorous fiends, friends and haters. Welcome back to the SciShow, the number one ranked YouTube channel for strippers, keeping with the birthday theme. If you're a stripper, I appreciate you. It's your birthday. It's everyone's birthday. It's the big birthday summon. It's been plenty of hype around this, and we are now here. Excuse me. So, Katsis is so excited she's sleeping on my lap. And I am going to loosely rank all of the featured heroes. So for anyone who isn't aware, we have 5 featured heroes, but we can actually select from a pool of heroes. So I'm going to go over the 2 new heroes to start with. We have Leone and Rajesh from the Wildcat family. They're looking quite cool. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 additional heroes, and they are all very, very good that we can choose to have our featured. Now, the featured hero is a 1% chance, so not too terrible. For each summoned legendary hero, you will get another non-featured legendary hero as a bonus. So that's just fantastic. You get one of your featured, and then there's plenty more in there to get. So, yeah, awesome stuff. The cost is a little higher than normal at the 400 gems, but it's nothing terribly, it's not crazy high. There is also the legendary hero, 1.5% chance of non-featured. So keep that in mind. There's a good chance you won't get the hero you're after, but I really bloody hope you do. I'm just going to go non-stop here through all the heroes, no editing, no fancy graphics. So I apologize if I fall asleep. No, I won't fall. If I just stop talking at some point, I may have talked myself to death. We all know I love a good ramble. All right, on to the first new hero. We have Leone. So I do like, I know it's only a small thing, but I like these little extra graphics on the corners of the cards with some of these newer heroes. Very small thing, but I think it looks cool. We have a rogue, which gives the beautiful dodge talent. So we can see that in all its glory there. We have a special boost for the Aether talent. Now, I did notice the team power is 1170, so that's in line with what we've got. That creep has stopped a little bit, which is good. Now, the Wildcat family, we are getting a bonus for 1, 2, or 3 heroes, 5, 10, or 15% chance to dodge special skills. So that's reasonably good. 5% chance just by yourself. Works in well with the rogue class, so that's nice. Artwork-wise, looking, pretty decent. There's a few hybrid things going on there. Yeah, looks pretty standard for a sort of Wildcat type family, but nothing to complain about. The passive, this one, there's been a lot of talk about this passive. So it's called 9 Lives. When defeated, this character has 75% chance to revive at the beginning of the next turn with 50% health and 75% mana. Activates up to 9 times. Chance to revive is reduced on each activation. Can't be prevented with status ailments or passive skills. So any who have we got? I think some of the early, I want to say the Bard, like Phonexa, gives it has a chance to stop reviving and that sort of stuff. Won't work against this, so can't be prevented with status ailments or passive skills. I would love to know how much lower it gets each time. I'm presuming it would work similar with someone like Isidore's attack, which just sort of gets lower and lower each time. So, 75% is probably just going to be dropping by 5% each time, but we'll never know that unless that's released somewhere. But that is just a huge, huge passive. 75% chance. So 3 out of 4 times they're reviving, 50% health, 75% mana. if you've got two or three of these, and we know this generally works better on defense, if you can manage to snag two or three of these, it's just going to be crazy with the revives. And they're getting the mana set back to 75%. Imagine killing that with 0 mana and then getting it back to 75%. Straight up, you know, you happen to put some tiles into it and bang, it's firing off again. If you see them on defense, my advice, without seeing them in action, would be to kill everyone else first, leave these for last, and then just pick them off when it's not as dangerous when they're coming back. I know it's easier said than done. All right, the other thing we have here is a trait. So this is a new feature. Leave frame. The character is not affected by effects that increase or reduce defense. So this is a buff or ailment. So it says there, status effect buffs and ailments, positive and negative, growth and wither. So if you've got it on your own team, don't be pairing it. Well, I mean, you can still pair it, but you're not going to get the effects of anyone who gives a defense buff, whether it's wither, whether it's growth, or but yeah, so you want to make sure that you're taking against teams that do that, so it's not going to be affected. But you don't want to have anyone on your team. I mean, you're still giving it to all 4 others, but just be aware that this hero is not going to receive that buff if you're giving a defense up or a growth for defense. Still works with attack, just not defense. I like that. It's something a bit different. I'm a bit 50-50. I don't like the fact that you're saying here's a hero, but it's not going to get the effects of all the other good heroes. But the fact that it's got this bloody revive thing, 9 lives. Anyway, on to the special skill. We have Claws of the Lioness running at fast speed. Deals 250 clawing damage to target and nearby enemies. I don't understand why it just doesn't say 250% damage. Anyway, it's birthday. We're all happy. Additional info deals 375% damage against enemies with minions or mega minions. Enemies with minions or mega minions receive minus 30 defense for 6 turns. So just what we need is a hero now to counteract all those mega minions. So yeah. I don't know. Again, I don't know why that's not just written in the special skill, whether they're trying to keep it sort of basic and not write that. But anyway, the target and nearby enemies receive 1,500 surge bleed over 6 turns. If a target already has this effect, the duration will be refreshed and the damage will be increased by 300, max total 3,000. So 1,500 over 6 turns. Now that's, we're looking at 250 per turn. Not huge, but it's a nice, it lasts a long time. So it's doing a lot of damage. It's just taking a little while to get there over 6 turns. Very solid hero, going to be great against those mega minion teams that we're seeing on a lot of defenses. The passive is probably the most overpowering thing. The rest of it seems fine. If you can manage to get a couple of them, then you can increase that surge bleed. It's not something we've seen it with the Hunter, the Monster Island family, where they put that mark on and that increases each time you get it. But the chances of getting it refreshed is pretty low. I've only ever done it 2 or 3 times myself, but if you have enough of the heroes, you can get that done. In this case, it's only Leone. I'm not sure if the other Wildcat does the same thing. But yeah, very good heroes. Again, they're just going to shine anywhere with that revive. Yeah, I mean, imagine 2 or 3 of these in a team with a couple of healers, so that when these are reviving, you're getting some healing and even some mana boost that would just keep getting them charged over and over. So on top of that, we also have Rogue, which is great for the dodge. So on top of that, the family bonus, which is extra dodge. So really, really good heroes. They're going to be a pain in the absolute butt. Yeah, so we'll have a look at the next one, Rajesh. He looks like a bit of a prankster. Again, pretty standard. I'm not sure why he's got horns, but I'm sure we'll figure that out at some point. Same power, 1170. We'll throw on his max power. I didn't actually have a quick look at Leone's stats, so little bit lower on the defense compared to the others, but really high attack. So that's going to hit like a truck. Rajesh is very similar-ish, just a little bit less attack and a little bit more defense. Here's a druid, which gives the little minion, as we can read there. He's got the Fiend Resist, probably one of the worst Aether talents. It just isn't really helpful. I mean, very rarely it can be. But, you know, Fiend Resist for 6 turns. Yeah, it is what it is. Same family bonus, 1, 2, 3 heroes, 5, 10, 15 for dodge. Same crazy 9 lives passive. His trait is also with defense. So everything's the same there. Onto the special skill, Royal Meatball Buffet. I'm presuming they're supposed to be meatballs that he's eating. They're very, very round and neat for meatballs, but I'm not a chef. Don't know why I decided to mention that. Runs at average speed, cleanses all status ailments from all allies, and increases all allies' mana by 5% for each cleansed ailment. So straight up, very good against anyone who's bringing those ailments. There's not a lot that put a lot of ailments on. Like, there's not many meta heroes that are throwing out, 3 or 4 ailments. So you might be handy and cleanse a couple off, but again, you're going to be taking it against heroes that do that. Based on that first thing on defense, it's not looking great, but I don't know what else it does. All allies bypass defensive buffs with their attacks for 4 turns. If any defensive buffs are bypassed, the attacking allies' mana is increased by 10%. So that's very nice. All allies resist new negative mana effects for 4 turns, and their mana is increased by 15% for each resisted effect. So we've got mana generation everywhere here. All allies resist new negative mana effects for 4 turns. So that's going to be straight up handy against Fergus. He's red, which isn't great against Fergus, but all allies, because he gives the mana down. So you're actually going to resist that, and you're going to get 15% back, which, I mean, Fergus is taking a fair bit off you anyway. Stack max, all allies get 30% attack. That's nice. You shoot him off a couple of times, you're up to 60% attack, but generally you're only really getting 1. Very good support hero. Again, I think will be better on offense than defense, because if you throw it on defense, then you can just take heroes that don't sort of give any ailments, that don't have defensive buffs, and also don't give mana effects. So will be fantastic on offense. If you take it against the right team, it's a game changer. But again, nothing overpowered in my opinion, apart from against the right team. Against certain teams, it would be awesome. But I would be thinking I would prefer Leone. Just to me, gives a little bit more certainty of what you're getting. Still 250 against 3 enemies ain't that great, but the revive makes it really good. And if you're taking it against mega minions or minions, so again, definitely more so on offense, because if you throw it on defense, people just won't take mega minions, and the damage isn't humongous. But they're both really good heroes, so that's great to see. I'm going to do a quick bonus review on Gurion. With also a new elemental hero out today. I don't need any green, so I won't be summoning here, I don't think. We'll have a quick look in, though. Here's the big... Wow, that, like... The hair kind of thing coming off of him, or whatever it is, the shawl he's wearing, looks very, very familiar. On one of the other heroes. Anyway, the slime family are all a bit strange looking. They've got instruments hidden inside them. He's looking a little bit strange there with his goofy eyes and his teeth and his horn and his bone, and he's got it all going on for the ladies. He's a barbarian. That gives the bleed. Sorry, I'm not trying to rush through these too much, but I do want to get to the featured heroes as well. Very conscious of the fact that you're going to be listening to me talk for far too bloody long. It's a Rage, Aether, Talent. Flick that off. Pretty good stats all round. A little bit lowish on the HP compared to some of the newer ones. We get the bonus for 1, 2, 3 heroes for Mega Minions, Mega Fiends, and Fiends. Summoned by allies get 10, 15, or 20% attack based on the number of Slime family heroes in the team. So it just gives a little bonus to anyone who's summoning Fiends or Minions or Megas. Slime Minion upon defeat. So when the character is defeated, we get the Mega Minion to nearby allies with 50% HP and 40% attack. And also does the same when, it gives itself a Mega Minion with 50% HP and 40% attack when it gets a hit of more than 25% of max health at once. Excuse me. Wow. Running at slow speed, so another slow hero, Bone Slam. Deals 450% damage to all enemies. Very, very big hit. All hit targets get minus 35% defense and a further 5% decrease every time they hit during 5 turns. The caster receives Slime Revive status effect for 5 turns if defeated. While Slime Revive is active, the caster will be reborn as a slime with 100% attack. 100% inherited health, 50% attack, 50% defense. Special skill Slime Slap. This effect can't be dispelled. If the slime is not defeated in 3 turns, it will reborn as the character's original form, inheriting the slime's health and mana. So another really good slow hero. It's doing quite a big hit and is annoying with the defense and the revive. I don't think it's as good as recent slow heroes such as Fergus, Bernadette, and Ekthal. But still going to be very, very useful, especially in Rush. It's easy to say that with slow heroes. But we've seen with Fergus and Bernadette especially, they're sort of moving into normal wars a lot as well. They are very hard to counter in certain cases. Gorian doesn't have anything super special. It's really just the big hit and the revive. But, the revive sits there for a fair while as well, and it's not really doing as much damage. So yeah, again, a good hero. Not sure if you're going to be doing summons in there. You might get some free coins, so good luck to you if you do. Fungustine is the other featured. What sort of percentage have we got? We have featured hero of 0.5%, so not a great chance, but absolute great hero, Fungustine. And Gorian will do the trick for you as well. All right, let's move back into the birthday summons. I will be doing some summons at some point. Let me know how many you want to see, and I'll see what I can do for you. Obviously, I'm not going to be breaking the bank, but I would love to do a few summons, and yeah, if you want to see them, let me know. All right, on to the featured heroes that we can select. We have quite a few here. To be honest, I don't see the point in ranking these heroes. I did say that I was going to rank them to a degree, but I really think that they are extremely good in their own right, and ranking them is nigh on pointless. I will very loosely rank them, but you're picking hairs, really. Someone like a Rosalind, you might say, well, she's a little bit older now, so power of 1110, as opposed to someone like a Fergus who's 1130. Sable might even be a bit more, 1150. But these heroes are all fantastic in their own right. Sludgus is a little bit old and has some counters. So I think I'll just zip through them and probably leave the top 3 for the last ones to look at. What does that sound like? Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. I think it's probably obvious who my top 3 will be. Maybe not. There's a few in there that I already have. But yeah, you need to pick the best one for your roster, and there's just a lot here to choose from. So I'm just going to start at the bottom. We're going to look at Ott. He was featured in my Green Healer video not long ago in the top section. So we've got this fantastic, I'm not going to do a full review on them. It's just a very loose, very, very loose. Yeah, there really is just too many good heroes in here. I'm going to start with Vard because he's slow. I don't think he does quite enough to be a major pick in this portal. But again, this is really splitting hairs. Vard is a very, very good hero. Runs it slow, does 450% damage, which is the same as the slow guy we just looked at, Gorian. Gives all enemies minus 350 attack and minus 350 defense, and all enemies get minus 30% mana generation for 5 turns. So he's doing a lot. I haven't seen him too much outside of Rush, but absolutely fantastic hero still. So again, just because I'm not keeping him in the top 3, if you look at these heroes and you think they're good, then definitely go for them. They're all fantastic. So you can't really go wrong. I think some of them are a little bit sort of more standard than others. So I'm going to jump onto Regen now. So Regen is fast. We do have the Empowered Resist to Burn and the Molten Core, which gives burn. These Untold Tales 2 heroes are quite impressive as well. Dispels buffs from the target and nearby enemies. Attacks the target nearby enemies with Firestorm. And the target nearby enemies are immune to status effects buffs. So really, really good hero. But compared to the others in this bunch, I just don't think it does quite enough or quite enough unique things to make it one of the better ones. Now, this may sound a bit strange, but even Sludgus now is a little easier to overcome. So, again, depending on which level you're playing at, you may come across Sludgus and she's an absolute nightmare. But there are enough heroes now that we've got all the Astral Elves, Dwarves, that all bypass that dodge. So, again, absolutely fantastic. Big health recovery of 50%. Gives the dance, so the dance can be a defensive maneuver as well, but gives you the chance to dodge and do damage. So, absolutely fantastic hero, but not going to be in my sort of top 5-ish. To be honest, I don't even know who he is. I'm going to say Maisie. I'm not a huge fan of Maisie. I mean, she's good. She gets the Mega Minion to start with. She summons another one. She's boosting health by 800 and an extra 160 for each status ailment. That's the bit that I'm not quite a fan of. The chance of getting a really big boost because of that, but she does then get the Mega Minion, 180% attack, 65% HP, and it safely cleanses the latest cleansable status ailment from all allies. So I think we've seen a fair few of the Garrison Guard family. And again, Maisie is absolutely fantastic. But because there are a few out there, she is one of the newer heroes at 1163 power. So absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But not something I would be choosing here. And again, it's purely for the reason that you can only choose 3. Now, depending on how many times you summon, as soon as you get that hero, you can switch it out. But you really want a game changer for those top heroes that you're selecting. So these are not in any particular order. It's not like Vard was 20 on the list and Regen 19. I'm just going through some of the heroes that are great, but I wouldn't particularly be choosing. Quarry, I'll look at next. I've come across him a few times, haven't had too much issues with him. Deals 435 to 3. The target nearby receive water damage. All allies absorb that as health and give some growth. Again, it's a little bit common now. It's just a hit 3. Again, a very bloody good hit 3. Don't get me wrong. I've said it so many times, but I'm going to keep saying it. These heroes are all bloody great. So even if you accidentally pick one and get it, or if you get it as a non-featured, they are great heroes, but just not what I'm picking in my top few. And I'll stop saying that now. I think I've given enough disclaimers. Armand, Beautiful. Does a 300% to all. Gets the Mega Minion that looks so bloody cool. I love Almond. The minion puts enemies to sleep. But again, 300% damage. It's not as good as some of the other heroes in here. He's quite old now as well with that power below 1100. So we won't go him in the top. Who else haven't we looked at yet? I'm going to jump into Sable. Some people absolutely love Sable, and I think on offense, she can be an absolute lifesaver. Not a hero that I sort of enjoy based on my playstyle. So she does run it very fast, which is great. She has the Fox family, which reduces healing, which is great. So really good hero again. The caster shifts into Ghost Form for 3 turns. When the Ghost Form expires, the caster revives one random defeated ally with 40% HP. All allies gain 900 health over 3 turns and cleanses status ailments from all allies. So really good hero, but you're basically having to time your death right, and she revives one hero. So it can be... Sorry, I just flicked the microphone or something then. It can be great. I haven't had any issues with her whatsoever on defense, but I know a couple of people in my alliance use her on offense and just absolutely love her. So really good hero. Not one I would be choosing. Didn't really look at Ott. Again, really great hero, but wouldn't be in my top 3 to 5. Boost health by 600. Everyone gets a ward, which gives you some protection against those incoming special skills. And you're immune to buff dispels and reallocations for 3 turns. So that's a really good hero that can be used against someone like a Bernadette to stop you dispelling if you've got some sort of reflect or protection up against her painting. So again, pick the right hero for you. If you're struggling against certain heroes, Ott can be fantastic. I've almost forgotten now. There's so many bloody heroes here. I'm going to... Dagger is really good. I love my dagger. I've recently started using with Archibald. So he does a nice hit of up to 1400 damage, 40% more if the dagger is nature. It never misses, so that's great. You can use that against someone like a Sludgus and get around the dodge. Damage bypasses the minions, which is great as well. All enemies receive 384 poison damage. All enemies take 45% increased damage from burn and poison, which is great because you're giving burn with the molten core. So again, absolutely fantastic hero. I'm actually almost running out of who we've got left. Beowulf. I'm going to throw Beowulf in this pack that I wouldn't suggest as your top 3. But he's absolutely fantastic. It's so hard saying, don't pick this one, don't pick this one. We really are spoiled at the moment for these featured heroes. And I really wish the game would do this a little more often. We know the odds are reasonably low of getting these heroes, but something like this just really gives you that extra little boost of, okay, I can pick the heroes I want. You may not get them, but at least it's better than going for 1 out of a random 3 featured. So Beowulf, the reason he's in here is 615 damage to the target. So he's just a sniper. Sorry, I shouldn't say just a sniper. He recovers 15% health for all allies. So that's going to be a nice little heal as well. Increases the mana of all allies by 10%, which is great. And all allies get 25% attack. Again, fantastic hero. But considering some of the other ones that are in here, a sniper with a few extra little bits is not the best one in my opinion, but I really like Beowulf and I would love to get him as well. All right. It's getting very, very hard now to narrow these down. I'm going to go Dimmer. Again, Dimmer's a little bit older in the Garrison Guard family. He's fantastic. However, he's hitting 400 to 3. Target nearby enemies also get minus 25 defense for 4 turns. The duration is reset if it's healed. Summons the Mega Minion, and the Mega Minion does the bleed like most of the Mega Minions do on these attacking heroes. So again, fantastic hero. but just a little bit too. It sounds weird that I'm saying they're too basic when they have like mega minions that do bleed. But again, this hero's been out for a while. There's similar heroes. There's a lot of heroes with a mega minion. The mega minions are also getting counters now. So again, not one that's in my absolute top. Collier is very similar to what I've just gone over with Dimmer. He's dispelling a buff from all enemies, just one buff, which I don't really like simple things like that. It's just the latest dispellable buff. It can be really useful. Deals 300% damage to all enemies, so it's quite a good hit, similar to, we've just seen sort of Dagger and Armand Moncharmin. Daggers doesn't say 300%, but it's probably around a similar sort of area. Deals additional 6% damage per removed status effect, up to 330% damage in total, which again is only sort of one extra. You know, if everyone has one buff, you're getting up to that 330. Summons a Shield Guard Mega Minion as well, 180% attack, and it safely cleanses the latest cleansable status ailment. So, again, absolutely fantastic hero. Really like the Garrison Guard. The Mega Minions, as we know, are bloody terrific. And that is most of them. I've got a couple that are grayed out here because they're selected, so I need to go in and change it. I'm just going to actually do a couple here that I have already gone over. All right, so we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. And again, if you've selected any of those heroes I've gone over, by no means are they terrible. They are bloody great. So best of luck if you've selected any of those. We've got Hrothgar, Rosalind, Lufala, Astrid, Silverpaw, Hreidmar, Bernadette, and Fergus left. All right, so I'm going to jump into Hreidmar. I personally am a little bit biased against slow heroes, so don't let that fool you. Don't let that put you off. Another fantastic hero, attacks all enemies for up to 2100 damage. So you're probably looking around about a hit of maybe 1,000. I don't think it's quite as good as some of those heroes we've looked at with the slow heroes that are hitting up to 450%, which we've just seen with Gorian and who else was that? Gorian and Vard even is the other one, yeah. So 450%. I just don't think Hreidmar hits quite as hard. The Firestorm thing, it does do extra against nature, never misses its target. So again, that's fantastic against things like Sludges, who are giving the damage for the dodge. The caster steals generated mana of all enemies over 4 turns, starting low and increasing every turn until on the last turn all generated mana is stolen. This effect can't be cleansed, but it gets removed if the caster is defeated. So again, a really, really strong special. But when you're looking at heroes like Eggthau and Fergus, who have just come out, that actually do the instantaneous mana steal, or they don't steal it, but they remove it. This Hreidmar, again, fantastic, but just not quite in that same realm. I don't think I've seen many Hreidmars outside of Rush. Not saying it's not viable. At the end of each turn, steals the latest dispellable buff from all enemies and distributes them randomly among allies for 4 turns. So again, fantastically strong hero. I still find slow a little bit inconsistent when using it outside of Rush. There's a couple of exceptions. One, of course, is Fergus and even Bernadette. But Hreidmar, not quite there as yet. I think I'm going to go... Maybe I'm going to narrow it down to I'm getting closer to the top. So again, these heroes are all just fantastic, and they're slightly more fantastic as I go through them. I'm going to jump into Delufala. Fantastic healer, runs at fast speed, has the Molten Core, has everything going on, has a cool snake, even though she looks a bit strange. Yeah. Recovers 30% health for all allies. We're also getting a ward for 4 turns that reduces incoming special skill. So, great defensive hero. seen her as a tank a lot in the sort of wars I'm going at. All allies are immune to new status ailments for 4 turns, so it gives everything you want in a healer. But again, there's heroes out there that are very similar, that are doing quite similar things. Another one is Rosalind. Runs it fast, does 30% health, so basically the same. All damage all allies receives is reduced by 5%. So that's similar to the Lufula as well as the ward. It's just giving you less damage as you go. Summons a Mega Minion, and the Mega Minion safely cleanses a latest cleansable status ailment. So Delufula is blocking those ailments. Rosalind is cleansing them with the Mega Minion. We know the Garrison Guard have great passives as well. So again, I just don't think those two are quite there. And I think I have about 5 left. Silverpaw. I'm not a huge fan of Silverpaw. Again, Fox family. So, and when I say not a huge fan, I just mean as absolute fantastic, super duper must have heroes. I cannot stress enough that every hero is fantastic. There are no duds. Depending on your roster, there will be some that suit you a lot more than others, or that will be more useful for you than others. Silverpaw, so the minus healing, steals all minions or Mega Minion from the target. So it's only one target, which is why I don't rate him that big. Inflicts the target with lasting greed. Friendly effects from special skills only affect characters with greed. That's quite useful. All enemies receive 975 curse damage over 4 turns, starting low and increasing every turn. Again, 975 over 4, it's nothing huge. And it starts low, so I don't get those ones that start low and get high. It just gives you more chance to get rid of it or heal it away, cleanse it away, or heal over the top of it sort of thing. So again, this is in no particular order. Personally, he's one of the least I would pick, just because it's a single target. Yes, it can steal a Mega Minion, but I mean, you're stealing one Mega Minion. You might as well just have a hero that has its own Mega Minion that you don't have to steal, in my opinion. So that probably brings me down to maybe the final 4. And these are the 4 that I would really, really be wanting myself. Going to start with Hrothgar, because I already actually have Hrothgar. Runs at average speed. We've got all the great family bonuses and passives. So plenty of stuff going on. I used him recently because I just had him maxed not too long ago. So average speed, 310% damage to all enemies. So that's, again, similar to someone like a Armand, who's hitting 300. But on top of that, Hrothgar is also reducing the mana of all enemies by 20%. So anything reducing mana is just, in my eyes, absolutely huge. It just really restricts the other team in trying to control the battle and what they're doing. So all enemies also get minus 24% mana generation for 4 turns. And on top of that, we get the status effect generator at the start of the next 4 turns. The character gives your random ally 70% attack and 50% defense for 5 turns. This effect cannot be dispelled. So after that runs through a few turns, a couple, 2, 3, 4 of your heroes will have that. So it's a very nice... I don't care too much for that part of it. It's nice if you happen to, because it's random, if it goes to a hero that's about to fire a special, that's fantastic. It does help you with your tile damage as well and your defense. So very, very good all-around hero, and definitely one to select, in my opinion. That leaves me with 3, and these are the 3 that... No, sorry. It leaves me with 2 that I don't have. So at the end, I'll show you the ones I'm going to pick. I'm going to jump into Bernadette because that's the other one I have, the bloody granny that everyone hates at the moment. Has been introduced with a few counters, and there is a change coming to some other heroes that's in beta, which will actually lower the effect of Bernadette slightly. I believe the construct core heroes will be able to resist her painting. So keep that in mind with Bernadette. She is absolutely huge at the moment, but there's possibly a little bit of a nerf coming out. I think the reason is that the special was working in a way that I think it wasn't really supposed to. So heroes that had skills that block someone changing your special, or like any sort of skill that stopped someone stopping you from using your special, if that makes sense, were possibly supposed to be working against Bernadette and they aren't. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to throw her in here anyway, just in case, because it's not in the game as yet. As we know, she dispels buffs from all enemies, deals 250% damage, and turns them all into a painting. And that painting lasts for 5 turns, can't be dispelled, or can't be cleansed. It's an absolute pain in the ass. We know the toons can resist it. We know the glass can reflect it. But it is an absolute pain. Anyone that's come up against her, you know what I'm talking about. She's very slow, but still being used as tank in certain areas. She does have some counters now with Misty, the hero of the month. But yeah, absolutely great hero. I won't be picking Bernadette because I already have her, but please keep in mind that there is possibly a little bit of a nerf coming that will make her slightly less effective. Keep that in mind. That leaves me with 2, I believe, which is the main man, Fergus. Actually, no, I'll leave him for last because I want him. Astrid, I still think is the best yellow healer in the game. Recovers 50% health for all allies. That's as big as most other healers will do. Runs at average speed. But on top of that, each defeated ally has a 40% chance to get revived with 30% HP. All allies have a 20% chance to drop any received damage to 1 for 3 turns. And on top of that, has the quick tempo passives, which means all ballads and dances by enemies will only last for 1 turn. So I think that's amazing. I personally would still use, like, I would love her for everything. I mean, look at her. She's big, beefy. She's a redhead. I wish that was me, that little drum she's got there squeezed up beside her. You know, she could just carry me around with her all day. I'd be happy. I won't go into that too much. My cat's looking at me very funny. You probably all are as well. So Astrid, definitely one I would recommend. If you don't need a healer, don't go there. But again, for me, because of the fact it's doing the revive, it's unique enough. It's a huge heal, which is great in itself. The 50% heal, and again, I've mentioned it before, the percentage heals will keep their life longer than like a boost. Some of those early boosters are at 400 or 500 health, whereas some of the newer boosters are up over 1,000 or close to 1,000. With the 50%, with some of the heroes now, that 50% is actually around about like a 2,000 heal. So it will always be relevant until she's extremely, lower powered compared to the newer heroes, but very relevant for a very long time. Also gives a chance of a revive. So it would be great if it revived it before the heal, but it is what it is. It would be too overpowered if that was the case. And then you're giving your allies a chance to drop damage, so it just keeps them alive longer. Again, my top choice may not be yours depending on what you need. And lastly, we have the main man, Fergus. If you don't have Fergus already, and you do not select him in this event, then I don't even know what to say to you. I unsubscribe from it. No, look, you're free to do what you want. We've seen him as an absolute superstar tank recently, part of the Garrison Guard family, has all the great passives, resist mana reduction, which is very important being used as a tank, 5% mana when he receives a status ailment or negative stack. So if you've got any heroes that are going off against him and giving those, you're just speeding him up. Removes growth effects, which is great. He is slow, but the huge thing, reduces the mana of the enemy with the most mana by 70%, reduces the mana of all other enemies by 40%. All enemies get minus 30% mana generation for 6 turns. Summons the Mega Minion, which has 300% attack as opposed to some other ones that we've looked at that were 160. And it gives the bleed damage when the Mega Minion hits. So he just disables the enemy team ridiculously well. Takes 40% mana or 70% mana off them all. Gives them minus 30% mana generation. You would have seen him if you watch my war videos. You would have seen. If you don't, why the hell not? Go and watch them. Give me some ideas for the wars as well. I like to be semi-entertaining. But yeah, if you've seen my recent wars, you've seen me lose to this guy. Once he hits you, it's so hard to get your mana back. It's just totally disables you. On top of that, he then gets the minion out that starts giving everyone bleed. So the worst thing is you generally just get charged when you set him off, and then he takes all your mana away. You've got to try and get more of your colour on the board, and his Mega Minion starts hitting you and putting bleed on, which spreads. So just absolutely fantastic. I'm going to say the best tank in the game at the moment, even outside of Rush. It's yeah, he's just absolutely amazing. I think Clay might be putting together a bit of a collaboration with some ways to get around Fergus, which was funny. So it's a video to get around Fergus and Bernadette. Bernadette is almost semi-easy now to a degree, but Fergus is a real struggle to get around him. One tip I will give, if you have some really good ninjas leveled, then that is a team I have used occasionally, which, I mean, mine aren't fantastic. They're not double limit broken, and some of them are the older ninjas, but the fact you can still get your special off. Sludgus is a good counter because he does hit all your enemies, so Sludgus will or can dodge and give him damage. But apart from that, there's not a great deal around that really stops him. So I would definitely say that you need to have Fergus in your featured. I have talked for an awful long time. I do apologise. I hope you're not falling asleep. If you have, then sweet dreams. In your dreams, remember to gently caress the subscribe button. There's some other fantastic heroes in this portal. There's also a lot of heroes that may not be desirable. That's why it's important to make sure you pick the absolute best ones you can in your featured heroes. So we can see there I'm going Fergus, Astrid, and I'm really tempted to go Rosalind, even though I didn't really say she was that fantastic. It's really based on what I need, and it's a very tough choice for this third one. I have Bernadette. Not a huge fan of Silverpaw and Hydemar, even though they are both fantastic. I already have Dagger, I have Armand, I have Hrothgar, I have Sludgus. Really is just a matter of who I want to take. I do like a hitter who heals, even again, I didn't say Beowulf was one of the absolute sort of must-haves in here. I also have a lot of red materials at the moment, so that's something I also need to keep in mind. I'm actually just going to jump out and have a look at my items, just for anyone who cares. So, I've got a lot of purples. What about my limit break? Yeah, I've got purple, so that's what I mean. I've got a lot of red, so I've just done blues recently. I've got some greens that I'm already doing. So this is where it's easy to say, I want that hero. But in my opinion, you need to make sure you've got the items to get them up to at least 85. I'm actually out of ham as well. I'm out of barbarian emblems of all bloody things. So that I'm going to keep that in mind. So I really don't want any barbarians. And I think, is he a barbarian? No, he's a monk. That's good. So he's a fighter. That's good. I would have easily picked Hrothgar if I didn't already get him recently. And again, this is where I'm saying I don't rate Beowulf as one of the best sort of 5 heroes or probably even 10 to be honest, because he does only hit one. But I do also need to take what is going to work for my team and what I'm going to use. I don't really want Silver Paw. The only reason, even though Beowulf is a single target hitter, I do like the fact it's got perfect accuracy. I can take that against Sludges. He does also resist mana reduction, which is fantastic because you can take him against people like Fergus. So I'm trying to put together enough heroes to take against Fergus, and that can be one that will work. So for that reason, I'm actually going to choose... yeah, I'm going to choose Beowulf as my third. So they are the three I'm choosing. I would be, again, absolutely wrapped with any of the heroes out of this featured pool. I hope my ramblings have helped you maybe pick someone who's good for you. I will stress again, they are all bloody fantastic. I may have sort of whisked over them as I was going through them if I didn't believe they were one of the best ones to choose. I think in this sort of portal, you just want to choose the most unique, useful hero in certain areas, or for as many areas of the game as you can. And yeah, so they're the ones I'm going with. I hope that's helped. I hope you have a great birthday for Empires and Puzzles. I think we all should go and buy cake. I'm actually going to buy a cake. So you can imagine as soon as I finish this video, straight in the car, straight around to the supermarket. Actually, I might even walk. It's only a 5-minute walk. I shouldn't be lazy. And within 10 minutes, I'm going to be shoveling cake into my mouth. There's probably a video in that. I'm sure someone would... yeah, I know there's some people out there that would like to see that. I won't talk about anything else with the cake. Just shoveling it straight in the gob. I love cake. I love birthdays. I love all of these heroes. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And it's time for me to go. And let me know how many summons you want to see. Well, don't really. I'm not going to do 7,000 or anything crazy. Chunky Roy would be nice. Great heroes here. If you are summoning, absolute best of luck to you. I wish you the best. I hope I get nothing just so that you can all get something really good. If you do enjoy what I'm doing, gently press the subscribe button. I have zoomed over 1,000, but we need to keep this thing going. Make sure you press the little notification. I've mentioned some codes coming up soon, so make sure you've got the notification because some of those will be first in, best dressed. And keep watching all my videos. I just appreciate you to the point that words cannot describe. It's blown me away. It always blows me away. I am rambling. Give your kitty a scritch for me, and have a bloody good one.